All right, you guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk about Nintendo's E3 2022 Direct. So as you guys know, Nintendo is set to have one of their biggest years ever with the sheer amount of games set to release in 2022. And that's not even including the games that are going to be announced in the upcoming E3 Direct. So now the question we have to answer is, how is Nintendo going to go even bigger for this next Direct? And furthermore, how are they going to be able to improve on the massive Direct they had in February, which revealed games like Mario Strikers Battle League, Nintendo Switch Sports, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3. One of the trends we've seen in the last 2 years for Nintendo is they always go hard with their February Directs, and this is primarily to carry them through the first quarter of Nintendo's fiscal year, build the hype, announce games that are all set to release in the first half of 2022. With the February Direct behind us and all eyes set to Nintendo's E3 Direct, it's time to talk about what kind of game reveals, announcements, and other things Nintendo plans on showcasing during their E3 Direct for 2022. Hey, what's up everyone? Wes here. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time watching my channel, do me a favor, hit the like button on this video and subscribe with your notifications on. So without further delay, let's go ahead and jump into the first game that we will likely see during Nintendo's E3 2022 Direct. Now, with the announcement of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 being delayed until spring of 2023, I think there is still a slight possibility we will see the game in some form at E3 2022. But coping aside, the reality is we likely won't see the game at all. I think Nintendo intentionally wanted to set expectations ahead of the investors call, and especially ahead of E3 2022. The next time we see Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 will likely be closer to the end of the year in September or October, where we might see another Nintendo Switch device announced. But to avoid any future disappointment and to set our expectations, our best bet for the title and release date reveal is the February 2023 Direct. As I said, Nintendo has been bringing the heat in February, so that's why I think we will have to wait until next year to actually see the game again. Unless, of course, they announce another Nintendo Switch device. Now, the next game that I think is a surefire deal is Splatoon 3, which is set to release in 2022. Splatoon 3 will likely make an appearance during the Direct that will hopefully give us a release date for this summer. Now, if history ends up repeating itself, then it will release sometime in July, which is the release month of Splatoon 2. I think these summer months for Splatoon just works. It's such a colorful game, and it just gives us that summer vibe, especially when it's not competing with other big games that are releasing in the holiday season. It's a nice shooter to grind during the summer months until we get to the DGen gaming sessions during the fall and winter. Now, this next game reveal is probably one of the most anticipated games for the Nintendo Switch outside of Metroid Prime 4, the game that we only had a JPEG to deal with for the longest time, and that is Bayonetta 3. So if you guys did not know, Bayonetta 3 was officially revealed in September of 2021, where we got to finally see gameplay as well as a release window of 2022. If we end up seeing a Bayonetta 3 trailer, it will likely only give us another trailer. I don't think we're going to actually get the official release date during E3. I have a feeling we're going to have to wait until the fall Direct, usually in September, for the official release date. Now, I hope I'm wrong. I'd like to play Bayonetta 3 right now, so if we get a release date at E3, then that's even more of a win. Now, the next reveal that I think is a given is the next wave for the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass, which will be Wave 2. Now, I don't think we're going to get it until probably either this summer or even the mid-fall for the next Booster Course Pass wave. With Mario Kart 8 Deluxe being one of the biggest games on the Nintendo Switch, I don't think they will miss the opportunity to promote the Booster Course Pass as well as Nintendo Switch Online at the E3 2022 Direct. For the next game reveal, I want to take us back a couple steps and really ground ourselves from all of the other crazy announcements that we just talked about, and that is another trailer for Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope. Now, I don't think we're going to get too much information during Nintendo's Direct because the Ubisoft conference will also be taking place, which I'm sure they will do most of the promotion for Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, but either way, I don't see how it doesn't make an appearance at this Direct. Moving on to our next showcase, we're going to kind of turn things up a little bit more for this game, and that is Star Wars Hunters. First officially revealed during the Nintendo Direct in September 14th of 2021, Star Wars Hunters is an upcoming competitive arena combat game developed by Zynga for the Nintendo Switch, iOS, and Android, and it is set to release in 2022. I really hope we get a release date at the Direct this year. I am definitely looking forward to this game. I'm trying to fill a void in FPS shooters as well as third-person shooters ever since I stopped playing Battlefield and they stopped updating Battlefront 2. I hope it's not ruined by microtransactions on the Switch and it's just a good game. Furthermore, I am really looking forward to seeing it at the Direct, even though it's kind of a toss-up. Out of every game that I've talked about so far, I think Star Wars Hunters is kind of that game that I'm not too sure about. Furthermore, the gameplay trailer that we've seen for Star Wars Hunter makes the game look really good. I'm hoping that game is as smooth as it showcases in the trailer, although I'm not really really sure. The footage we see in the trailer does not really look like it's representative on the Nintendo Switch, but who knows, maybe I'm wrong. Next up, it would not be a Nintendo Direct if we do not see some sort of Warriors game. And for this E3 Direct, it's looking like Fire Emblem's Warriors 3 Hopes. Now, this is actually set to release June 24th of 2022. This is around the time of the E3 Direct, so I'm sure we'll see Fire Emblem in some sort of capacity. My biggest concern is I do not want them to spend too much time on it because it's a Warriors game. If you buy a Warriors game, then you pretty much know what you're getting. So Nintendo does not need to waste time showing it off. Moving right along, we've got Sonic Frontiers. This was initially announced at Game Awards of 2021 with a release window of holiday 2022. A trailer during the Direct is very likely, but I can also see Nintendo holding off until the September Direct, so the hype doesn't start too far away from the release date. Nintendo typically doesn't show off games that are super far out from the release, and no, we're not talking about Metroid Prime 4. It's currently being developed by Sonic Team, so it's kind of a toss-up whether or not that game is going to be good or not. The internet has dubbed the game Sonic of the Wild, and that's because it's taking a generational leap on what we've seen with Sonic games, similar to what we saw with the regular Pokemon games to Legends Arceus, and of course the traditional Zelda games to Breath of the Wild. Next up, I want to talk about some wildcard announcements that I would like to see for the next Direct, and that is a possible Fallout 3 or New Vegas game. The Fallout series is incredible. Fallout 3 and New Vegas could easily run on the Nintendo Switch, especially if you consider that Skyrim is also on the Switch. Next up, we've got two games that we know are going to happen eventually for the Nintendo Switch, and that is going to be Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD. Two beloved Zelda games that we need on the Nintendo Switch so we don't have to boot up our Wii U anymore, or so we don't have to open up an emulator to play them. Now, the next game that I think is a possibility, and this is also a series, but I think we're only going to get the first two games, with the third one being a cloud release, and that is none other than the Batman Arkham series. Likely we will only see Asylum and City on the Nintendo Switch natively, with Arkham Knight being a cloud version, and this is due to the fact that Arkham Knight is a much bigger game from the previous two. It's also worth mentioning that there's been some rumors regarding the Batman series coming to the Nintendo Switch, and usually whenever there is smoke, there is fire, so we'll see what happens. Now, Nintendo has been known to give us that one more thing, which is usually the reveal that no one is expecting. It is usually the highlight of the show. Now, there are a few announcements that could be that one more thing, like Breath of the Wild 2 or even a new Nintendo Switch device, but there is only one reveal in particular that can make this showcase one of the greatest of all time. But before we jump into that one game, let's talk about the most likely scenario. A new Donkey Kong game that is a 2.5/3D platforming game. If you guys did not know, there was actually a leak/rumor regarding the development of a new Donkey Kong game developed by the team that did Super Mario Odyssey. Now, it might be a little bit too early for a new Donkey Kong game to be revealed, but I think if that was the one more game and it was a spiritual successor to the Donkey Kong 64 game, then it would completely steal the show. Next up, we've got one of the most anticipated sequels in the history of indie games, and that is Hollow Knight Silksong. Now, you could argue that this game is not big enough to be the one more thing, primarily because Nintendo does not own that IP, although it would be super cool and give a nod to all of the indie developers out there to continue striving for success, and who knows, maybe you could be the one more thing. Originally announced in February 2019, the developers have kept things pretty hushed over the past couple of years, but this E3 Direct could be the perfect event to turn the hype up to 1,000. The next one more thing is Metroid Prime 4. After years of going through the ringer and development hell, Metroid Prime 4 would be an incredible game to showcase to end off the Direct. Being announced on June 14th, 2017 with just a JPEG, it's time to finally see what Retro Studios has been working on for so long. Now let's go ahead and finally get to the reveal that could set this showcase apart from the rest, and that is an announcement of Super Mario Odyssey 2, or at the very least, announce the development of the sequel, similar to how they revealed Zelda Breath of the Wild 2. Super Mario Odyssey was Nintendo's magnum opus for 3D platforming Mario games, and it shows by the sales. Super Mario Odyssey is one of the best-selling games on the Nintendo Switch, and for that reason, it definitely deserves a sequel. Releasing originally in October of 2017, the same year the Nintendo Switch released, I think it's about time we get another mainline Mario game, and for that reason, I am excited to see what is all showcased at the Direct this year. If you guys enjoyed this video, do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel with your notifications on, and don't forget to check back again tomorrow for more news and information regarding all things Nintendo. This has been Wes, and I will talk to you guys again soon.